on the set in 3, 2, 1, going live.
Hey, Huntington Beach. Welcome to another episode of HB Unplugged. I'm Mel Craig.
And I'm Don Ramsey.
Don, you actually got this guest. This is pretty awesome. This is actually really
friend.
awesome.
I've known her for a while.
A young lady who's actually experienced a lot more in life than most young women have. So introduce, Don, you do the introductions?
Well, we have Miss Huntington Beach with us. It's my friend Gabby. And tell us a little bit about yourself, how you became
Let's give her a big round of applause first.
Miss Huntington Beach and how that all worked out. Let's just start there.
Yeah, well, if you know me from before, you would have never guessed I would have ever done something like a pageant. But I actually did the Citizens Academy in 2023, and it was when Butch did it. And someone who knew some people in the Assistants League found out that I had ran for city council, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you should go do the Miss Huntington Beach pageant." And I was like, "No. You don't know. I'm not that kind of person."
You weren't a pageant girl.
No, I was all sports, all that
Like
realm. Yeah.
Tomboy?
Huge tomboy. And well, basically they explained like, oh, it's not really like that. I mean, it is, but it isn't. And they're like, for you, having the ambition of running for city council, it's kind of something where you can still be a representative of something and still get involved. And I was like, you know what? That sounds really good. So I looked into it. I kind of saw what it was about. And I went to go try it last year, and I lost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You could tell that it was not my thing. It was pushing my comfort zone.
No, wait, we're talking about city council.
No. Miss Huntington Beach.
Oh.
I lost
Running
that
for
too.
Miss Huntington
Oh,
Beach.
you lost that too. Okay,
Yeah, no.
so.
This was last year, and I ran for city council in 2022. So after I lost, it was actually Love who told me, like
Lee Love.
Lee Love.
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
She told
Absolutely.
me,
May
she
she rest
said,
in peace.
you better come back next year. She goes, I want the headline, former Miss Huntington Beach as Huntington Beach mayor. And so I was like, you know what? That sounds like a plan. So I came back knowing everything that I knew from before, and I won. I learned from it. I overcame everything that was scary for me or different for me, and I won. And it was a really surreal experience winning because I am a competitive person, usually in the sport realm.
Right.
But then I won something like that, and I'm like, dang, that feels good too.
Yeah, and so
Awesome.
the way I met her was her mom liked our band, and she came up to a lot of our gigs when we played down
Oh, yeah, you had
downtown or
mentioned that
whatever.
at the museum.
And she came up to me one day and introduced herself and just told her, hey, we really like your band. We want to keep in touch so we know where you're playing and all that. And then about a year or two later, she says, hey, by the way, my daughter wants to run for city council. Can you help her? And I said, well, I'll do what I can. Let's talk to her a little bit. And then, we kind of reached out to each other, and she ran for city council, although she didn't win. But I'm hoping one of these days you run again and you do become a council member because you fit the mold perfectly.
Aw, thank you.
You really do.
Yeah, you do.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I mean,
You'd be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It'd be different for sure. I think it was Jill Hardy was the youngest mayor, and I was like, I want to beat that.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I remember Jill. Is she still in Huntington Beach?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was one of our judges.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she actually ran also in 2022.
Well, one of the things, Don, I like about Gabby is you don't seem, you'd be great at city council. Just meeting you a few times, I could see where you'd be amazing. But you don't seem political. Like that's what I mean by a breath of fresh air. It's like you're kind of like you're getting involved, but yet I think you'll take a different approach.
Well, I definitely would because I am political and I got into politics, not to mention the time, but in 2016 it was very polarized, right? Like that's kind of the first time we saw how polarized it was.
Right.
And I was 16 years old in high school. I couldn't even vote. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I mean, it was a crazy time and I didn't even take a government class yet. So from there, I did learn a lot and I got into it. But from that knowledge, I realized, I'm like, you know what? None of this stuff matters. I said, what matters is what's happening in our own city. And it actually was, I never expected I would do something like that because I didn't want a career in politics. But to me, local politics isn't really politics. And it's not really about the larger politics, right? And so I think I would come with that approach because I don't have the bigger ambitions of going further with it. And it's mostly because I wanted what's best for the city. So
She's
my
not going to become president of the United States. Is what
No,
you're
but
saying.
but her objectives are sound. She wants best for the city of
yeah,
Huntington
and I
Beach.
wanted to be my kind of like my campaign was being the bridge of communication between the citizens and the city, right? Because you can't please everybody, you can't do everything, but
Wow,
finding
good.
that middle ground where you're like, hey, either you're taking the time to explain to them the compromise and why you can't necessarily do it or why you can, and finding that balance. That's kind of what it's all about. You're never going to please anybody. No one can please everybody.
Trust me. Do we know that? Do we know that?
And
That's
so, not to interrupt. So, after she became Miss Huntington Beach, I started seeing her around at all the events I do. She's like every single place that I'm doing stuff.
I'm taking advantage. I have met so many people and I've learned so much in this process, which everyone told me I would. And I was like, I don't really see how. I'm just showing up in a crown and a sash. And it really is something where you're engaging with all these people. I never realized, like I always knew Huntington was close-knit. That's why I liked it. I said, it's a town of almost 200,000 people. And my mom and I can go out and either she'll know somebody, I'll know somebody, someone knows me because I'm her daughter, someone knows. It's just, that's how it works, right? And then I realized once I was doing these events, like you don't realize how many people are involved. You don't realize how many Don Ramseys there are. And it's like, even Love. I only knew Love in the scope of the Sand Dollars when I did the pageant the first time 2 years ago. But even that woman, I mean,
Come to find out all the stuff
everything that she's done,
with.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
it's just-
inspiring too.
Yeah.
So it's
Huge
just
huge
it's a,
impact.
It's a special town because you don't get that everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's not many Don Ramseys.
No, that's for sure.
A little bit about Lee Love. She passed away, and then Gabby and actually Casey McKeon reached out to me and said, "Hey, can we do a paddle out for her?" And then Gabby said something about June 6th. So I was with at the City Hall yesterday, and the whole City Hall is behind it all 100%. We're going to have
So
it.
it's going to be June 6th.
June 6th is
June
going to be the
6th.
paddle out and celebration of life for Lee Love. And
So June 5th at 11 a.m. at City Hall, where the 9/11 memorial is, there will be my Rose Garden ceremony. But in that ceremony, we will be planting a rose and honoring Love, as well as our previous president, June, which I'm sure you're familiar with. She passed away right before Love did as well. So it's going to be a big thing where we get to honor both of them. And then that way, June 6th, we will do the celebration for Love as well, because she has people from everywhere. She was part of Tall Clubs, specifically Tall Clubs Orange County, and she was Miss Tall Club Orange County, I think in the 70s, I want to say, or 80s. And so she has a lot of friends from everywhere. So we were trying to make it in a way where they could come out and do both to honor her.
Yeah, so it gives it a little time. It's still, a couple months away, but it gives it a little time for everybody to save the date and make time to come and celebrate her life.
Yeah, and I'm going to be gathering pictures from everybody so we can get them all in one place. I'm going to be gathering. There are so many stories that people have with Love that you would have never have expected. So I'm going to have people actually send in their stories, and we're going to put them in a book so that if people want to go through and kind of see the, all the impact, it'll all be there.
Idea.
And then in the actual ceremony, we're going to make sure that we have people that are speaking on everything that she's done, just to encompass everything. But you can't in like an hour ceremony. So that's why we're doing the book. So
You'll be there all day.
everyone can share their piece of love.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, so let's move on and talk a little bit about your sports. So you started playing basketball. Tell us about all that.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Okay, cool.
But
because right now I'm all into this because of UCLA.
Oh yeah,
Because
UCLA and Caitlin Clark. For me,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even watch women's basketball until Caitlin Clark. So
Caitlin Clark is amazing.
I don't even watch men's basketball either, though. It's not the same as the skill set of women's. Like, it's not the team aspect. Like, there's the where the coaching really comes into play. It's not the same when you watch professional. So I never really got into professional. But I went to Cypress College out of high school, and I busted my butt. First game, I was lead scorer off the bench as a freshman, and I still was like getting no recognition, which is okay. And I kept working hard, and women's basketball is tough. There's a lot of catty girls, And there's always
You mean like
yeah. And then especially like if you are good or seen as if you're seen as like, competition, they automatically don't like you. And it should be more like, hey, let's work and make each other better. And it's like, oh no, she's gonna take my spot, and they're just mean. And so and I was young. I still had a lot of growing to do. I wasn't like great by any means, but I definitely was not getting recognition, and I was getting treated pretty poorly by the team, to the point where I had one of these girls like get in my face and like in practice for something that I didn't even do wrong, and to the point where I had a panic attack, and I've never had one before in my life. I'm a pretty tough person. I don't prefer confrontation, but there's a way that I can eloquently execute it. So it was really hard for me. And so the next week I came back, and after practice, the school semester had just ended. And after practice, my car was gone, my phone was gone, my keys were gone, my wallet was gone. Every single one of my belongings was stolen. And
Really?
your car?
my car. I don't have proof, but I think it was orchestrated because someone else's keys were stolen and their car was right next to mine, and it didn't go anywhere. And it was a huge damper on everything, because when you like push yourself to keep staying in something that you like,
Sure.
it's not great, and then that happens. It's like maybe it was a sign, which now later I realized it was. Everything happens for a reason, but I didn't go back. I took the rest of that spring semester off, tried to kind of refigure my life. My car was found maybe like a week later in West Covina, and it was wrecked, and I got insurance from it, but it was an awful experience. So the next year, I went to Irvine Valley College, and I didn't go to OCC any of these times because they didn't have. They were actually like ineligible most of the year because they didn't have enough players, and there was a coach change, which ended up being the best thing that ever happened. I just didn't know. And I went to IVC, same thing, just an awful, awful environment. And
Wait, I want to go. Wait a
Irvine
second. I want to
Community
go back.
College?
Did
The car?
you get your stuff back?
some of it, not most of it.
You got your car back, obviously.
Yeah, but it was wrecked. It was, I mean, it was they had it for a week, and you put your finger on the screen, it's covered in like black smoke, and they had like my intimates mixed in with their stuff. Like they literally stole my clothes and things, and there was toilet paper in the back of the car. The back window was smashed in. There was like wires pulled up from under the seats. And would you believe that they had us drive it home from West Covina?
Wow.
And then they said that they're going to total it because they don't know what's wrong. And I said, why would you have us drive it for an hour without a back
Unreal.
window? So it was tough. And there was never justice served per se. But
Because they never found
couldn't-
out who
they couldn't
stole
tell
it.
who
They didn't have
did
any
it, or-
fingerprints or
no,
anything?
so the funny thing is that there was actually like fingerprints from the smoke on the window. And then there was also like one of those phone cards for like those phone plans where it had like their PIN and everything. And so I actually called the phone thing and I got the address of where it's registered from. And I tried to go to Cypress Police and they told me that I had to go to West Covina Police. And I went to West Covina Police and they told me I had to go to Cypress Police. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, there's nothing that would happen if they catch the girl, right? She gets arrested. It's not like she's stealing my stuff anymore. So, I just had to kind of let it go. It was tough because then I didn't have a car for a while. I couldn't go to school the next semester. And, you're 18 and you think that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? And so it felt like a setback for sure. And so I went to IVC the next year because I had my high school teammate played there and had a pretty good experience. At the time, Cypress and IVC were like
What is IVC?
Irvine Valley College.
Irvine
The
Valley,
lasers.
The lasers.
Lasers. And those were the two teams that were always battling each year for the conference title. So I'm like, I wanted to go to these good teams. So I went to Irvine Valley College, and that coach, I mean, again, both these coaches are also like long time known for what they do. And so you think that it's going to be, a great experience. And so I go there and it's the same thing. I mean, she picks right off the bat 5 girls. You can do no wrong and you guys will play pretty much the whole game. And the rest of the girls, no matter how hard you work, you're going to stay on that bench. And so then by the end of the season, she's like going crazy. Like, why is no one motivated? Like, why is no one trying? And I said, you don't want to know the answer. I could give you the answer. It's because, you have 5 girls that can do no wrong and you have the rest of the team that can do no right. And now you bred a team that has no teamwork and no motivation. So they ended up, we had talent, but they didn't get that far. And then COVID happened. And then that was another curveball where I'm like, shoot, what am I going to do? Oh, well, also, I had to get a petition to get my eligibility back. So when I went to IVC, their athletic director had to petition with the California Community College Athletics Association to get my eligibility back because you only get 2 years. So I basically wasted a year at Cypress playing like 5 games. So I got it granted back. So my idea was now I'm going to take these 2 years and give it my all at Cypress or at Irvine Valley College.
Irvine, yeah.
And then I played that 1 year. It was awful. And then COVID hit. And I'm like, damn, I'm not meant to play. So during COVID, I took the full 2 years off. Like they had the full year that was, shut down. And then they had the year after where there was the mix of like the vaccines and the testing and the masks. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to play a basketball game with a mask on my face. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, and I thought I was done. I was like, I pretty much had
That would affect your breathing.
Oh, it would affect everything.
Wait, well, yeah, but did they have a season where actually players played with masks on?
Yeah, they had to play. They had to play with masks on. They got tested, and if like one girl tested positive or something, the team that like had just played them had to sit. The team that was on them had to sit. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, there's not even a point to having the season. Poor girls had like their whole season ruined, a whole year of eligibility ruined. And so at that point, I decided I was done. I was like, there's no coming back from this. I already have my associates. I'm not going to college yet because I don't want to go and pay to do it all online. But that was it for me. Well, I ended up helping out a little bit at Edison, their girls basketball, which is my alma mater, and it was
helping like coaching.
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah, helping out. Yeah, it was tough.
How was that? Oh,
it was tough because, I mean. It's different now.
Was it JV or varsity?
It was like both, but mostly varsity. But now, girls that play basketball, they go to schools that are known for their basketball. So then you have these teams that are a lot of girls that are like...
You can just pull it way forward. There you go.
Put it forward.
Is that better? I saw
a little bit better. Yeah. You got girls that, are trying it for fun or, haven't really played, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when you just went from like this competitive, collegiate, environment to this... It was making me be like, I wish I was on that court. Right. I mean, they weren't trying hard. They weren't, it was more that than the skill level. And so I actually ended up going to watch Irvine Valley College play Orange Coast College. And this new coach I was talking about where her first year, I never even played them because she only had 4 players. She couldn't even play a game. Well, her name was Sammy Doucette, and she actually coached with Kobe at his Mamba Academy. And she's young. For community college, like I said, those coaches that are super established and, the 2 schools I went to, those coaches have been there for like over 20 years. I mean, this coach is like 20, probably my age now, like 25, 26 at the time when she first got that job, which is a big deal. And
this is at OCC?
At OCC. So I went to go watch a game, and I'm watching her team, and they're not great. But they were cheering for each other. No one had a bad attitude. If they were down by 20 or down by 5, you couldn't tell. And I was looking at IVC, which was most of my old team. And you look at the bench and they're all just like the worst faces, the worst attitudes. And I was like, you could
it actually shows.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, that's my biggest pet peeve with basketball is when you have a bad attitude because it is the easiest thing to see on the court, off the court, whatever it is. So I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to OCC and go play for fun because that looks fun, right? And so I reached out to her and she did not reply. And so I reached out to her again and she kind of replied and was like, oh, you can come to summer and try it out. And so as summer went on, it was kind of getting like a little interesting because we had this point guard that came from Golden West, which was not one of the best coaches or programs either. And she was really good. Like, she should not be in junior college good. And then we had a couple of these guards that were really good shooters. And we started playing a few games, and we were like, shoot, like, we're good.
Wow.
And everyone was mad about it. Everyone was mad that our coach was doing well because she's young and she's new. And these coaches have been here for 20 plus years.
And you're beating them.
We're beating them. My old coaches were mad that I was still playing. I don't know why or how. I mean, my Cypress coach never really cared for me. And then she's like, how are you eligible? Like, there was complaints sent in about my eligibility. I had to get what do you even call it? Investigated, like my eligibility. And because she's put it, there was a complaint put in. And then the old Golden West coach was so mad that point guard left, even though they didn't have a good team. And so he started causing drama. I mean, everyone hated us. Well, then we kept winning.
God, there's a lot of politics in
Oh my
basketball.
gosh, there's so much. There's politics in everything, unfortunately. I'm trying to not get into that, but it exists. And so then at that point, we literally could not lose. And the craziest thing too, though, is that we were like 5 deep, meaning we had 1 or 2 subs maybe, but it was like we played the whole season. Like the girls that we started with and the girls that we won it all with played every single game for pretty much like 35, 40 minutes. And then we had 1 fluke loss, so we don't have a perfect record. It was against the worst team in our conference. And so you could tell it was a fluke. And it didn't matter, though. It actually was probably what we needed. And so then we go to the state championship tournament. And so it's 3 games, and it's the Elite 8. And we won every single game.
Wow.
And we won it all. Yeah.
Let's see that ring.
Okay, so here's the special ring. We got this over here. And it's pretty special. And this whole season was special because everyone on that team, including Coach Samiy, had a story. So inscribed on the inside of my ring is 3rd time's the charm, because it was my 3rd try. And the funny story about Coach Samiy is
it's heavy.
It's a hefty one. Coach Samiy applied.
Can you zoom in on that? You need to? I mean, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, number 21, which was also my coach's number in college. And Coach Samiy applied 3 times for that job, for the coaching job. Because remember I told you how it's pretty rare to have a coach that young get that kind of job. She applied 3 times.
Heavy.
And then a couple of the other girls, it was their kind of 3rd year playing because of COVID. So everyone had this meaning of 3. And then we won in 2023. And the last time OCC had won was 2003. And there was just all these special moments. So actually, a handful of the girls and our coach, we actually went and got tattoos of 3 stars in a line. And so now I share a tattoo with half my team and my coach. And then the 3 was significant because of the
And you
the
were
3.
California state champs.
California state champs. Yeah.
Woo! That's a big deal.
It was an awesome feeling because it's one of those things where, you know, I struggled with the failure. I'm okay with failing, but at the same time, sometimes it's really hard. Like, you know, that's part of life, but it's one of the harder parts of life. And
well, it molds you.
Yeah, but you don't see it in the moment. You don't in the moment.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
In the moment, it sucks. And so when you have these like all these failures, I mean, I had no idea that I was going to go back to play. The whole time that I failed the first time, failed the second time, COVID hit, like I never in my mind was like, I'm going to go back and play. And it wasn't until like we were there and in it that I was like, we're doing it. And it just didn't feel real. It was one of the craziest things. Technically, I mean, like realistically, yes. But if there's like, again, it's the same thing. I get out of it and I'm in a women's league now. So I play out in Yorba Linda on Tuesdays and we just got our win last Tuesday. And it's one of those things where it's like if there's like the tiniest chance that I could, I might.
What position do you play?
I was technically a shooting guard / power forward. It just depended on the team and where we're at. Because I'm tall, but I'm not that tall. Like you got to be a post in women's. You got to be at least like 6 foot. And women's don't really play. We don't really play with like 2 in. So usually it's like a 4 out, 1 in situation. So I would be that extra guard that was out.
So it's kind of like a box and 1 type thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So So I was more the shooter, but I could work inside the paint too, which worked out. I had the height with most of the teams.
How many people know that Miss Huntington Beach is a state champion?
I know nobody. I didn't.
All of our judges. Part of the pageant we got to do, which was my favorite part, was lifestyle wear. So I put on my college jersey and I put the ring on and I showed it off to them and I had a ball with me.
Nice.
That's cool.
Well, that'll say a lot right
there.
So
they know, but.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer because like after the years go by, it's like hard to kind of bring up and brag about. So this is kind of cool that I get to
Oh, and then see, this
show
is
it off.
She's worth it. Check it out, guys.
But
when you see her on the beach, I'll see your ring.
But I was telling Dawn is actually like that season that we were playing is when I ran for city council.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, was that confusing?
Well, my coach
I
was
mean, your head 1 minute into the game, and then next thing you know, you're
my coach was definitely thrown off. She was like, "You're doing what?" She's like, "Is that going to affect this?" I'm like, No. So the election was in November, so it really was just the beginning of the season, which it worked out, so there wasn't much overlap. And from the time that I started running for city council, it was like in the middle of summer, so it worked out, but it was still something for sure because the toughest part of season is the beginning. That's when you guys are all like, you're getting to shape, you're finding your grooves, right? Who plays well, how you play well. So it was a lot, but it was really fun.
Okay. I got a question for you. Do you surf?
I have never been surfing.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom was the Huntington Beach local who was afraid of the water. So I was not exposed to it.
Unreal. Karen's the same way. She won't go in the water. She loves the beach. She'll put her toes in, but that's about it. My wife. She'll put her toes in water and that's it.
I'll go in the water,
This
but
is
I'm
Surf
never
City,
surfed.
USA.
I know. I realized.
We should get her on a board and just push her into some baby waves.
Yeah. So, do you know Rocky McKinnon? I need to introduce you to Rocky McKinnon. He's the main surf coach on the beach in Huntington Beach.
Just get a couple
He's
waves.
great.
And just, yeah.
I've been wanting to. It's something I would definitely try. I have good balance, so I think I could do it, but
Yeah,
it just
of course you can.
never got into it.
It's one of those things. Once you try it and you catch a wave, it's
Addicted,
over.
yeah.
because
It's very
you're gonna
rare.
You're
It's
gonna,
very rare that somebody tries surfing and actually stands up on their first wave that they don't get addicted. Am I right?
Totally agree.
I mean,
the
once
feeling is
unreal.
unbelievable.
It's just unbelievable.
You can't match the feeling to
Yeah.
anything.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, it's like even if you're just going straight, like put you on a longboard and have somebody push you in a wave.
Yeah.
And they'll yell at you, jump up, and they'll get you on your feet.
Yeah.
And when you're on your feet.
That's what Rocky's good at,
Yeah,
is getting you on your feet.
Getting you up on your feet.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I definitely need a new thing to be addicted to.
Rocky, we have another student for you coming up.
I just saw him yesterday at Duke's. Yeah.
So why don't we show off your sash and your crown? You showed your ring.
Yeah, I guess I should show the current hardware, right?
Yeah, there you go. The current heart. There you go.
Okay, so I have this little guy,
Goes like so.
and then I have
The sash.
the sash here, and it currently has a sticker from Senator Tony Strickland. It's an American flag.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that goes across like
that
so.
goes across
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then we get to dress up to the event and what we desire. And
So whatever the event is, you dress appropriately.
yeah, there was an opening for Stride Fitness in Huntington Beach, and I kind of said, hey, we should go in athletic wear. So it was kind of fun because usually we're in either business wear or dresses, and so this one we got to dress up in like leggings and athletic tops and running shoes and go and take some pictures.
So being Miss Huntington Beach, do you get like I don't know, is there sponsorships and things like that you get? Do you get job offers or things? I mean, that's pretty. You know, one of the things I try to tell my kids, they were in martial arts, and I tried to get them to get all the way to black belt, right?
Yeah.
They quit at red belt, which is the belt just before black.
Yeah.
They had 6 months to a year to go, and they would have got their black belt. And I was really disappointed. Hey, they're my kids. I love them. But I was disappointed because once you put a resume in, you can actually write that you achieved black belt level.
Yeah.
Because employers look at that and go, wow.
Commitment.
That says a
If
lot.
you
Yeah.
did that, you stuck with that, you committed yourself.
A lot of skills you
So
learn.
I'm assuming to be Miss Huntington Beach, that would be great on your resume or...
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is too. Part of my goal, as you know, right? Our president just passed away, and our previous president, who stepped down, has also passed away. And I think the Sand Dollars, the group that puts it on, is kind of going through a transformative time. And one of the biggest things is it's a nonprofit that puts it on. So I actually get a scholarship at the end of my reign. And that money comes from business sponsors and community members, donations, things like that. So part of my goal is actually making these connections with these businesses and showing up and being present as much stuff as I can to kind of get the program out there, but also make those connections and get those sponsorships and those donations. As far as personally perks, I mean, there's like little things here and there. I mean, it's just fun to be able to go and get recognized and,
Miss
meet
Huntington Beach.
people. Yeah. I mean, it's really cool to think about too. Like a lot of the businesses that we go for the ribbon cuttings, like they genuinely get excited to have like Miss Huntington Beach there. And it's fun to be able to make people excited.
I get it.
Especially when it's their own business. It's like this their baby and their project, and they get all these people to come and celebrate them.
Sure.
So I have been trying to get a job with the city. I've been talking to Butch, Casey, Gracie. I've been bugging everybody. So hopefully that perk can come. But I definitely do have my state championship on my resume. That's in the extracurricular. That's in there.
That says a lot.
I'm sure the Miss Huntington Beach thing will help too.
Yeah, of course it will. Absolutely.
In Huntington for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to go anywhere else. Huntington Beach.
No. So I have to get a job where I can make enough money to stay in Huntington.
Oh, yeah. It is expensive.
But it's worth it.
It's expensive, yeah. But you're right. It is worth it.
It is.
So, when you think about what you're doing right now, what does your future look like? We do know that you're going to run for city council again, right?
Yes, one day. I don't know exactly when, but it'll be one day semi-soon. And then for me, it is trying to find a career and explore those opportunities. I've worked in the service industry for a long time, and it's great and all, but for long terms of what I want as a family and my future to look like, it's not serving.
What did you study in school?
So that's another thing that was difficult is when you're a college athlete, if you don't know what you want to do, you get put in something that's what they call easy. So they put me in like liberal arts, sociology, psychology. So I actually have my associates in all of those things, but I don't have my bachelor's yet. After OCC, I went out to UC Merced because eligibility reasons. They're NAIA, and it worked out with all my eligibility issues. Because it was another thing that was funny about me playing at OCC is I'm 22, 23 years old playing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds. It's definitely something that you don't really see that often. It happens though because there's no restrictions in junior college. But NCAA, so any Division I, Division II schools, which are all the state schools that have cheaper tuitions and more scholarships, I technically wasn't eligible for. So UC Merced was a state school that was NAIA, so it kind of worked out in regards to being not super expensive, like a private school that's NAIA, that's local, and being a UC, which has a great education. So I went out there for a semester, and it was worse than all of my experiences combined. So I learned. I came home, and then I was figuring out what I wanted to do, and I started working at a restaurant. I worked at Fletcher when it first opened, and that was like my job I got when I came back.
Over at Bellaterra.
At Bellaterra, yeah. And actually, one of the owners, Randy, has been like my mentor through all of this. Like he's it's been awesome because every restaurant I've been since, I will literally tell him about like what's going on, this, that. I mean, I quit Fletcher, and he's not very happy that I quit. But he still supported me in everything that I've done. And I told him too, I'm like, I just had a conversation the other night, and I was like, I feel like I'm behind, like I don't know what I'm doing. Part of the reason why the Miss Huntington Beach things works is it's a scholarship. So I actually am going back to school for business finance because depending on what I'm good at, I think it's going to fall in that realm, and that's a degree that could actually help me beyond.
Oh, the business world is wide open.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you decided what school that would be?
So I'm actually, by the end of summer, I will finish my 4th associates in business at Orange Coast College, and then I think I'm going to try to go to Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, okay.
Because they have a good business program, and if there were a chance that I would play, it would be that school. They don't have a great team. So I would be able to kind of like wiggle my way in, or even they have programs too,
and
which is
showcase your talent.
Yeah, but it would be a whole battle with like the petitions for eligibility and things like that. But there's so many rules, and they're constantly changing. So that's why I picked that school.
There's an ulterior motive.
But what's funny is Randy told me, he was like, I didn't get my degree until I was like 28. And I'm 26, so I'm like thinking I'm behind, right? Because most people finish when they're 22. And he goes, I didn't get where I was until like long after. And he said, I didn't know what I wanted to do. He's like, I was just working in restaurants and I, got my degree late. And so it's encouraging to hear everyone I've talked to that like I admire and that has made something of their lives. They all have the same story where it's just like, I was figuring it out.
Wow.
And so, hopefully I can continue figuring it out and get to that point too. But it has been tough because you get a lot of opinions from people, definitely, about what you should do, what you should do in school and when you should do it and things like that. And it's tough because especially in this time, there's a lot of changes in the economy, the job market, what's needed. Like you don't really technically need a degree to be successful.
No, you can do it without the education, but truly it does help.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm an advocate for staying in school and getting it done because I wish I had that. I don't know.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. You put yourself out there and you make it. And then all of a sudden, my experience with that is I wanted to be a dentist. After I got out of the Army, I was a medic in the Army. And then we fell into the tire business. And that once I realized the tire business was generating some pretty good revenue, I went with it, But
wait, what tire business did you?
I own a tire company called Ecology Tire here in Huntington Beach.
You didn't know that?
It's 50
No.
years
It's right on
old.
Gotham.
I have my buddy, his dad, and now him. They own Discount Tire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's funny.
I know
And I was like, I
Discount
never thought in my life that like tires would be a company, right? And here I am meeting everyone that has a tire company. Maybe I should do tires.
Well, in fact, Don started out in used tires.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's got,
Yeah.
and
recycling tires.
Who would think there'd be a business in recycle or used tires? But it's massive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
We've done very well,
Well, I did also support one of your other businesses,
which is
your storage units.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. My mom told me until after.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
Yeah,
she goes,
own a
that storage unit that was
container
Don's because that was
Well, he still
that was
has
during
it.
the time. I know.
Yeah.
I tried getting one. We just moved. I
I
tried
know,
getting
doesn't-
one from him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you know him or not. Yeah. Mel, sorry, we're full. Yeah, can't you kick somebody out? No. Well,
Either
that's
way.
cool, man. It's so much fun having you on the the show with us.
Yeah, that was really
By the way,
excited.
what do you like to do for fun besides basketball and work and studying?
That's a great question.
we got to get her in the water. There it is.
That's one of them. I do honestly. I take my dog to Dog Beach a lot
cool.
when I can. And then this is like a guilty pleasure because it's like gambling in a different form. I've never been gambling, but I shouldn't because I have an addictive personality. Dave and Buster's. Arcade games.
Arcade games.
So I have like a buddy that we'll go out and we'll go and play. Like they have half off games. Now it's like 5 nights a week. So we'll go and we'll play some arcade games and we have like our favorite ones and we'll get the jackpots. And that's like one of my little.
Which Dave and Buster's?
Oh, we go to any of them. So we'll go to the one in Irvine Spectrum. There's one in Orange
That's a
Outlets.
very popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go to the one in Orange Outlets.
And it's big.
Yeah. They've opened a new one in like Long Beach, which is where my buddy lives, but they don't have the big basketball one. I like the big basketball, not like the mini ones, but they have like the full size ones.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually try to go to Spectrum or Orange because it has the big ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I am undefeated on that game.
Are you?
All my friends, they cannot
She's
beat me.
competitive,
And
all right.
and all my friends
She
are
said
my.
I'm competitive.
These
She's
are all my friends that I go and play basketball with. I have all these guys that I met through basketball playing like pickup locally. So part of the reason I became good at basketball was because when I was in high school, my dad would take me before I could ever drive to Edison Park and
Right across the street.
and
yeah.
he would make me shoot 3-pointers
Yeah.
the whole time, and then he would go and ask all those guys playing.
Yeah,
And
tell
they're
you,
not the most competitive.
That's a tough crowd
but for,
over
for
there.
a high school girl like who's a freshman, sophomore, who I never played club, I never played competitive. I just did like recreation leagues in school,
Mm-hmm.
and he would force me to go play. I'm like, Dad, no. And so from that, I developed like skills that you don't really get playing with women because there can be a guy that's not athletic or that's not good at basketball who can still block the crap out of you because he's just tall and athletic and you're not used to it because no girls are going to do that. And so
Wow.
you learn like different finishes.
What
you
a
learn.
cool dad.
How to
Yeah, it was really cool.
throw
So
a
are your
pass,
parents
yeah.
locals?
Yeah, so my mom actually was born and raised in Huntington, and so that's how she knew of Dawn too. And her husband now, my dad passed away when I was 17.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
My
that.
dad is from Iran, and so he immigrated here in the late 70s, and he kind of struggled a little bit too because English was his third language. So he could speak it well. He had a thick accent, but like I don't think he was, fluent in writing and all these things. I mean, you could read it. I remember too when I was like in elementary school, we were having a garage sale, and he like went to write a sign, and it said "garage sale," and I didn't understand, right, that my dad is like foreign, and so it's just funny, like those little things that I noticed like over time. And he also had physical limitations. He had polio.
Oh.
So he was
When he was a kid, I assume.
in Iran, yeah. So none of the doctors in Iran could figure out what was wrong with him. And then finally, there was one doctor that diagnosed him and basically saved his life. All these years later, he's in 5 Points at Java City with my mom and my elder sister, and I was not alive yet. Mm-hmm. And my sister's playing with a girl, across the window, a little girl outside with their family. And, they go and say hi after. My dad's talking to this guy, and they're both Persian, right? And they find out that this guy, his name is Hamid, his dad is the doctor that saved my dad's life.
Wow.
And so Hamid ended up being one of my dad's like best friends out here. And till the day he died, he was like his closest comrade. So, and it's one of those crazy stories.
What a great story.
Not like that's not real, but it is.
It's right next door to Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think it's still there. Yeah.
Oh no, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
A little
But that
bit
was
ago.
one of my favorite places to
Mine
stop and get
too.
coffee. I love that spot.
I'd always get like the Java Lanch, but without coffee. So it was like a chocolate little shake thing. It was
Yeah.
so
You
good.
don't drink coffee?
I don't. I don't.
I got to. It's
I
like I get up in the morning. I got to get out of bed, and it takes me about. And trust me, my house ain't big. I had to get out of bed, and it takes me like 15 minutes to get to the coffee pot. Like,
I think I'm still young
I'm
enough
like
that I don't need it yet, so I never got into it.
Okay.
Again, I know I have an addictive personality, so there's like things that I stay away from. Like if I get into any hobby, any craft, one of my biggest things when I was growing up was instruments. I would like learn to play like decently a ton of different instruments, and
Wow.
to the point where my mom banned me from Craigslist because I was in high school going places buying instruments off of Craigslist, and she did not like that. But I had like over 20 instruments at one point, and I could play like over half of them like decent, and a quarter of them pretty proficient.
guitar? Because he's always looking for a guitarist.
Honestly, guitar is one of those things where I can play, but not well. I can't do those bar chords. I don't know if it's like my got super flexible fingers or what it is, but it's tough.
Yeah.
I need like a
Bar
smaller.
chords
I
are
need a
tough,
smaller
yeah.
neck guitar, but not being able to play guitar. I actually grew up playing piano and violin lessons wise, and then my grandpa got me ukulele, so I played ukulele pretty well, and that's kind of where I would like pretend I'm playing guitar because it's a lot easier.
Sure.
I'm sure if I did like a classical guitar with nylon strings, that would be easier because the steel strings is where it's tough on me. But and then cello, and then some obscure ones. Like I got an accordion off of Craigslist, and that one became one of my like all-time favorites.
What about bagpipes?
What's funny is that was on my list. I got a harp instead on Christmas instead of the bagpipes. I think my mom was tired of hearing all the sounds, so she like went with something that would be a little bit more peaceful.
Yeah. So with that addictive personality, we need to get you surfing.
Oh, yeah. Once you get in
Yeah.
the water.
Hey, once you get in the water and you catch a wave, you're just like they say, you're sitting on top of the world. There's nothing like it.
It's euphoric.
Yeah.
It's funny though too, because it's like the more I get involved, the more I'm hearing like all these. It's Surf City, right? We have all this history, and
Yes.
that last week when we saw each other at the Surf Museum, that's one of the first times I went to the Surf Museum.
Oh.
I've been here my whole life, and I have never just walked in there, and it's like I'm like, man, I really wish I got into this before because everyone's so involved in this, and it just looks so fun. I was like, I really missed out.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to introduce you to Rocky McKinnon.
Yeah,
Believe me, he's
and
a
Melissa.
good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Well, we should have-
I met Melissa a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone knows of Melissa, but I was like thinking about that. I'm like, man, I wonder if she'll go surfing with me.
Oh, Melissa can
She'd
surf.
love it.
Yeah, she was a lifeguard for 10 years. I just saw her. She's working next to Denny's restaurant there on Main and Beach Boulevard, finishing that mural that got all
Yeah,
screwed
she
up.
just painted it all white the other day.
Yeah,
I saw her
yeah.
post about that.
Yeah,
Very
she's there now, putting her starting with her final touches on the whole thing.
Well, one last thing. What does Huntington Beach mean to you?
Huntington Beach is home, first of all, and not just because I was born and raised here, but because, like I said earlier, it's one of those things where it's very close knit. Like and not just because Merced was Merced, but a lot of places elsewhere doesn't have what we have. And even if you go, like, if you want to go more similar to our, landscape, you go anywhere in LA, they don't have this. And they're not like this at all. They don't have the resources we have. They don't have the care, the consideration, the money put into where it needs to go to have a comfortable living area. And the people. I mean, the amount of people that I've gotten to learn just in the last 6 months that are so involved in this community. Wow. I mean, it's really inspiring. And so it's hard to think that I'd want to go somewhere else because it would not be the same. Even if I were to get involved or volunteer in my city or try, like, I would never, ever think about moving anywhere else and being like, I'm going to run for city council out here. It just doesn't mean the same,
You know, it's funny you say that, Gabby, because Don mentioned this a couple episodes prior where almost wherever we go, like he was in Hawaii or I go to Texas or I travel a lot for my work and so does he travel. And when we go places and people say, hey, by the way, where are you from? Huntington Beach, California. You're from Huntington Beach? It's people in Hawaii, when you're in Hawaii, vacation or catching some
why
waves.
are you coming here when you live in Huntington Beach? Believe me, that's happened to me just about every time I go. Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, I don't know when it was. Like, because I've worked at all the hotels down there. I've worked, so many places where you get tourists, and it never hits me. I'm like, there are so many people that come here to vacation. And I get to live here. I get to have a pass where I can go to the beach anytime I want and just go walk on the sand. And there's people that have never seen the beach in their entire life. Mm-hmm. I could have been born in anywhere in this world, and I got to be born here. And from roots starting, I think my grandma got her house. It was over in Glenmar, and my mom went to Wardlow, and all her friends went to Wardlow growing up. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like in the early 60s. My grandma came out here from Burbank.
Is that where Walmart is now?
No, it's where where the off of Magnolia and like Adams, where those baseball fields are.
Yes.
So right behind that, where all those new homes are, it used to be Wardlow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh. And then Glenmar's a neighborhood right there, which still exists, but that school's been gone for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's on the southeast side of Huntington Beach?
Yeah. That's my side for sure. I've never really spent a lot of time on the north side, a harbor area. Mm-hmm. And then another crazy story is my mom, being a widow, she kind of reconnected with someone that she knew of growing up. I don't know if you know of the Costellos or the Johnsons.
Yes.
But Jimmy Johnson, he is best friends with Chris Costello and all him. And so my mom knew them growing up. Like, they were like the cool ones growing up. And my mom was she had her friend group that was popular, but she was the dorky, nerdier one. And he also had his wife pass away and kind of close quarters as my dad. And so my mom and him kind of reached out and they reconnected. And they had both lived in Glenmar, and they went and saw their old houses, and they're actually married now.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those Huntington Beach love stories. Like, my dad obviously wasn't from here, but it's cool to see how, they grew up in the same town. They remember all these things, and and they reconnected, and now they're married and they're happy. But they both lived in that neighborhood. And all my mom's friends lived in that neighborhood. One of her friends still lives in that neighborhood and is the realtor of that neighborhood. And you really see like now how small it is, even though it's so big.
Well, if anybody wants to reach out to Gabby, what's your last name?
Sammy.
So if anybody wants to reach out to Miss Huntington Beach, how do they do that?
They can do it multiple ways. So I have the Miss Huntington Beach pages. So if you want to reach out for the Miss Huntington Beach stuff, or you can reach out to the organization, which is
that on Facebook?
Is it?
Instagram and Facebook. There's the Huntington Beach Sand Dollars and the Miss Huntington Beach Scholarship Program. So any of those pages you can reach out. And then I have 2 Facebooks. So my real name is Gabrielle.
That's what I asked. Yeah.
But because I used it for city council.
It was Gabriella. I said it's probably Gabriella.
But
Gabrielle.
Well, because I was a tomboy growing up, so I hated my name. So I'm like, no, I went by Gabby my entire life. And then when I started like doing the city council, I'm like, Gabrielle sounds more mature. I'm gonna pick that one. And so I made a Facebook that's Gabrielle Samiy, and I use that for the purposes. And now I just have the 2. So either one is fine. I'm on both of them. But
what about an email?
Email GabrielleSamiy@gmail.com.
All right, cool. Very good. Yeah, excellent.
Simple and easy.
So if any of you people watching this episode, be sure to reach out, send her an email, ask her any questions you want. And
You're having an event, she needs to be there.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'll be there.
I'm telling you, it's like
I think it's May 1st is my grand opening. Hopefully you'll be here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, May 1st is our grand opening of this building. So
Oh,
Dawn will be,
yeah.
So we're grand opening HB Unplugged plus my detailing.
Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, two in one. Yeah,
I get to say that I got to break this in before the grand opening.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, we love having you as a guest. This has been fun. A lot of energy. Yeah, it sounds like you have so much to offer.
Thank you.
We can see you're like busting at the seams to do something.
I definitely am. It's time. I got all those years to kind of figure it out and try all these different things. And I was really blessed to have a family that supported me doing all those things. It's not easy. I used all my own money doing the city council stuff, playing basketball. I had going to college. It was tough, but I had family that supported me, or else I wouldn't have done any of that. Because the first instinct would be
you have to have that.
Exactly. Yes. And it was nice too, because you're already getting hard on yourself when you're failing, and when you have family that doesn't think you're failing, you can keep going. So I feel really blessed, really lucky, and now I'm at the time where it's like, all right, let's go. That's what's next.
And by the way, the business thing, it's the way to. I'm telling you,
it's just in general. I like knowing things. I like knowing how things work. So in general, having that knowledge for something that I've gotten to be around so much recently has been nice.
Yeah,
so
the business world has a lot to offer, especially women now, because women, I know they didn't. For some reason, I don't know why. One of the things, when I have students come here and they learn the art of car care, so I train people how to do car care. And I always tell the guys, the women, they pay better attention. They're better at it. They pay attention to details.
Oh, big time.
Financially, they have a better head on their shoulder financially. I mean, it's amazing when I
Perfectionists.
when I have women come and they're looking at the car care opportunity as a career, they blow doors off.
Yeah.
And so, and I see you as a very successful businesswoman.
Thank you.
I do. I
think
picture that.
that's part of the struggle too. Is nowadays people our education system doesn't really show careers. No. And I was one of those students. Obviously, high school was a very tough time, losing my dad and just everything else. My arts and my basketball is what kept me like focused,
grounded.
But I knew right away. I'm like, I'm going to junior college. Why would I go anywhere else? But they don't talk about it. They're told, you need to get your APs, your honors, your SATs, your ACTs. And if you're not doing it, if you're not in STEM, if you're not in one of these things, you're not successful. And
what a shame.
And, it's a bummer, because I honestly, if I could go back, I would have gone into a trade.
Oh, yeah.
I would have, 100%. That's like the one job that will never go away. And by the time everyone else has graduated with their degree, probably in debt, starter job, you're making a full salary. You're making a grown man's salary, or, grown woman's salary. And it's cool that, like you said, you have students here and you get to show kind of this career and the different options. And that's what I'm finally at 26 getting able to see doing this, is that all these different business ventures and careers that are out there. And now my goal is like, I'm going to own a business in Huntington Beach one day. And I'm going to be one of those businesses that I get to visit every day that like gives back to their community and gets involved in their community. And I already promised, actually I promised Love before she passed away, and I promised the rest of the Sand Dollars. But the first thing I'm going to do when I'm done as Miss Huntington Beach is I'm going to go and volunteer on the board. I'm going to be part of the board and keep that program. Keep the program growing. Yeah. And which is why I'm taking this role so seriously, of just getting those relationships and getting the sponsors and keeping it alive, making it something special.
Yeah.
We were talking about going to school, and there's so much that you have to do to go to junior college, then to, a university. And I think that's why vocational schools, because younger people that have a business mind like you, they're like, I don't want to do this. And that's why vocational schools are like busting at the seams. Yeah. It's actually hard to get into a vocational school because they're all full all the time. And it gets expensive too. Yeah, unreal. Well, Gabby, thanks you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is probably the highlight of my Miss Huntington Beach.
Really?
My Huntington Beach year. Yeah.
We're honored. Your first podcast show?
Yeah. When Dawn texted me, I'm like, oh my gosh, heck yeah. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah. And plus you get to see them. So we're just going to say goodbye to Gabby, and let's give her a big hand. Yay. Fantastic. All right, this is Mel Craig.
And I'm Don Ramsey.
And thanks for joining us for another episode of HB Unplugged.